Hey, how you doing, girl? Miss Emily McFarland, my beautiful daughter. It is the 6th of September, 2019. I'm here to welcome you and honor you and be grateful for what we have together. What little we have together, I'm grateful for what it is. For what it is. So what's going on with me? Well, I just bought some bike lights for my bicycle tires, my bicycle wheels, my spokes, because I'm looking forward to Kimmy Van Dyke's Bike Delights event. I have a feeling that there will be an event sometime soon, and I want to figure out when that is and where it's going to be. And I'm totally prepared. I've got a Bluetooth speaker and I got some great tunes and I'm ready to do it. And you know what? I'm ready to go bicycling at nighttime. And you know what? Here's the thing. I think I'm just going to do it all by myself. I can do it in a group or I can do it by myself. I think for me, I'm not sure it matters very much. so I'm excited about that whole thing and looking forward to doing some bike riding on my bike. Totally. I hope you're doing well, dear daughter. I hope you're doing fine, and I hope your classes are going well. You know, it's September, so classes have been going on for about a month now for you. Your sophomore level high school classes. You're really starting to get into the nitty gritty, I'm sure, in your math courses and your English and your science courses. Starting to really get into big subjects now, you know, complicated work. I'm guessing you've got homework to do and you're super busy with all that stuff. I'm guessing you're also doing track and field this semester, and that's cool. You know, there's something about running which is really just a wonderful exercise for the human body. I love it myself. Speaking about the human body, I think that I have made some real good progress on improving my posture. Posture has always been sort of this an issue with me. I'm continually trying to improve my posture. A big part of the reason that I started working out was that I wanted to improve my muscle tone around my back muscles so that I could improve my posture a little bit. And I was hopeful that just strengthening those muscles would go a long way toward improving my posture. And, you know, I'm sure I've had some improvement, but I'll tell you, I am looking for even more improvement than that, than the improvement that I have gotten so far. I have this yesterday, I think I was in the gym and I was looking at my posture, and I think my posture issues probably result from a pelvic tilt issue. I think I have a tendency to do what's called like posterior pelvic tilt, I think. And that sort of throws off my upper body posture, my back posture. So anyway, I'm trying to correct it. It's actually not easy. It's kind of like learning how to walk all over again. So I make an adjustment to my pelvis as I'm walking down the street. And I'm having to, it's a little bit unnatural for me. But what I'm noticing is that my back is straighter. I don't know if that's an improvement. I guess we'll see. So I'm trying to make tweaks here and there, bringing more attention and mindfulness to my posture and what my spine is doing. You know, everybody has a different back. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and for him, his back muscles get tight. Every morning they get really tight. And that's just not something that I experience. Uh, When he says his back muscles get tight and he's stretching those back muscles, I'm not quite sure what he's doing. It's not, it's what's kind of funny is I have no idea what he means by that. Because my back muscles, they're either working or not working. Well, I don't know. Sometimes they're sore. Um, but I'm not sure I ever have what I'd call tight back muscles. Back muscles where it would serve me to stretch them a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how human beings are just so different and also so the same. Human beings have genetic material or genetic DNA. It's like 99.99% similar from human to human. And it's interesting how many like differences and mutations and changes and things exist. I mean, there are a lot of differences. It's interesting how some medications work for some people but don't work for other people. A lot of that has to do with differences in genetics. And here's the thing about life, it is just so complex. It's so simple, but yet so complex at the same time. We're kind of like all like fish swimming in a fishbowl, in a giant fishbowl, and we're just swimming along, and we're turning at random times and doing the best we can to survive in our habitat. And there's a lot of arbitrariness about it. There's a lot of subjectivity about it. I would like to be able to pin down some objective truths about life and living for you. But I'm finding it very difficult to do so. I don't necessarily have a really good handle on what it is to be alive, despite the fact that I've been alive for 48 years. You'd think I would have some kind of solid notion or semblance of what's going on. What I can tell you is that pretty much everything's made of atoms. Okay, so I was thinking yesterday about how much I love Democritus. Democritus was the, I guess, pre-Socratic philosopher who came up with this atomic theory that everything was made of atoms. And I was thinking that this expression of Democritus was the first, what I'd call, theory of everything. Theory of everything version 1.0. And for me, when I think about that, I think that it's foundational to an understanding of the world. That atomic theory that Democritus came up with, I think that idea alone launched human civilization as we know it. I know that sounds strange, but that was the seed that created science. It was the seed that created the Enlightenment, I think. It was the seed for everything. This atomic theory that everything is made of atoms. Now, as a physicist, I recognize that not everything is made of atoms. There's a lot of things out there that are not atoms. For example, electric fields, magnetic fields, gravitational fields, fields of all kinds. They're also particles like photons. Photons are just electromagnetic fields. So, there are fields. Really, a more accurate statement would be that there are fields and there are atoms. And while that's wonderful, I think I know it's wonderful to acknowledge that fields exist, but I think it's more foundational to acknowledge that atoms exist. That was the breakthrough that made civilization possible in my mind. Yeah. Because, that was the starting point of science and objectivity and trial and error testing, the scientific method, things like that. We needed the atomic theory first. The atomic theory, in my view, is like the basis of everything. That and, the Socratic method, Socrates and Democritus, in my view, were probably the originators of Western civilization and maybe even civilization. Well, I don't know. That may be an overstatement because I know the Egyptians existed for a long time. Hey, Google, when did the first Egyptian dynasty exist?
On the website mstecher.com, they say Egypt's pre-dynastic era lasted until 3100 BC, when the country was united and the dynasties began to rule. Do you want a little more context?
No, thank you. So 3100 BC, that's not very long ago. I mean, that's a long time ago. That's 5,000 years ago.
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help with that yet.
And Democritus only existed like 300 BC. So I'm going to have to take back that statement because I am in awe of the Egyptian civilization. So let me suggest to you that Democritus's atomic theory was probably just the beginning of science. Because I think you can't have civilization without science. It's just, I don't know. It's a civilization that isn't as good as it could be. I don't know though. It's kind of the funny thing is I have a lot of respect for the Egyptian civilization that existed apparently 3100 BC. So that's like 3,000 years before Democritus. We had Egyptian civilization begin. So, I mean, that's a long time. 3,000 years. And, it's already been 5,000 years of recorded history. That's a long time. I'm just trying to comprehend that number, 5,000 years. And to think that we've only amassed this much technology and power, economic power, it's taken us. Well, you know what? I don't know. When did human civilization really start amassing power? Probably after the Middle Ages, I'm guessing. I'm guessing probably around the time of the Roman Empire that we really started amassing some wealth and power. So, what was that, about 900,000 years ago? About 900 years ago. I don't know. Human beings, sometimes we've been slow to develop. I think that we really should have developed a lot sooner than we have. I mean, why did it take 5,000 years for human civilization to get where it is now today? Why did it take so long? 5,000 years. Holy cow. There must have been some really destructive forces that existed in order to inhibit human development as long as it was inhibited. Because really, I mean, if you think about it, the Industrial Revolution for us only occurred like 100 years ago. And that's when we really started crawling out of the abyss after the Industrial Revolution. I don't know, that's probably not true. But let me tell you, there's something amazing about machines. Of course, we've had tools for many, many years before that. So, anyway, Emily, I don't know how much you appreciate my rambling about history and our place in it. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about myself and what's going on with me. So, I went shopping at Kohl's department store yesterday and I bought some shirts, two shirts, which I really like, and I can't wait to wear them. And it got me to thinking that my wardrobe is not as good as it could be. It's pretty shoddy. And I think I'm going to start making some improvements in that area. We'll see what happens. I think I might want to go upgrade my wardrobe a little bit, just one or two notches, because it's deteriorating pretty rapidly. That's the thing about human beings. We are maintainers. We have to continually maintain our livelihoods. I had some maintenance done on a shower knob in my apartment just yesterday because just things break, things crack, things get old, things need to be replaced. I it's entropy. Yeah, entropy, ultraviolet light. I don't know. Oh, golly. So let's see what's going on in my life these days. Well, I'm really enjoying my photography class. I'm learning a lot in it. There's so much to know about photography. In fact, what's interesting is every time I take a class in a skill or a discipline, I find how little I know and how much there is to know about any single subject area. I could spend a lifetime thinking about photography, just that. And and the same is true for bicycling. I could spend a lifetime just thinking about bicycles. Uh, there's just so much complexity in the world. Any one of these subject areas could occupy me for a decade or a couple decades. It's kind of great that it's that way, that there's so much knowledge. Like all I need to do, I mean, I could even just go into Wikipedia and just surf Wikipedia for the rest of my life, and I still wouldn't understand it all. In fact, there would be a whole lot that I wouldn't be understanding. There's just so much out there, so much variation, so much diversity, so much detail that it's really confounding. And I'm glad that human beings are doing their best to collect information about what's going on in the world and the detail that they do it. That's really appreciated. But there's so much knowledge. I remember I worked at the library at Zimmerman Library at the University of New Mexico for a little while as a work study. I worked at the circulation desk, and I also stacked books and sorted books and put them in the stacks. And I remember walking around the library thinking that I'll be lucky that I would look into or even touched 1% of the books in that library. I'd be lucky, which just sort of gives you an understanding of just how immense the field of knowledge is. It's it's just so huge. I just don't have time to enjoy it all and to tap into it all. I don't have time to tap into 1/100th or even 1/1000th of the material that's out there. My brain, my brain has limits. I wish it didn't, but it does. I've tried to read like really long books in short amounts of time, but I've got limits. I mean, I can only read for so long before my body starts giving out. Not just my brain, but my body, because in order to read, at least for me, I'm typically sitting down or lying down, and I just can't sit down and lie down for hours and hours at a time. I mean, I can, and I've done it, But there are impacts. There are impacts to that kind of behavior that I don't like to experience. Oh, man. I guess we should count ourselves lucky. It's not like in the past where all of human knowledge can be locked up into one encyclopedia. Today, we definitely need artificial intelligence to help collate and understand all this information. It's just, it's just too much. And that's just the digital information. There's a whole lot of other information out there that's not digital at all. Not There's information out there that's sociological, emotional, physiological information that can't be written down or hasn't been written down. I don't know. Well, I kind of wish human life was probably about 1,000 times longer than it is. Yeah. But even if human life was 1,000 times longer than it is, even if it could be that way, there would still be more knowledge than I could absorb. Now you might ask, well, why would Miguel be interested in learning anything? Well, I was thinking about this today. Actually, yesterday I was thinking about, why am I so interested in learning new things? There are a lot of reasons, of course. There's the flow and stimulation. For me, it's about sensory stimulation also. It's about learning new things and just how the joy and happiness that it brings, the confidence, the experience that it brings. But there's another aspect to it. And I was thinking about like the social aspect of it having to do with, say, approval seeking. That I like being recognized for my competence. I thought that was part of the reason I'm so focused on learning. Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of curious, Em. What are the reasons? What is your intrinsic motivation for going to school and learning all the things that you do? Why is learning important to you? Like on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is learning? What do you rate it? For me, I would say learning would be easily a 9. Easily a 9. Well, between an 8 and a 9. Is it a 10? No, it's not a 10. I enjoy learning, but it's not the end all be all of everything. I like experiencing too. I like just being in the moment. I don't have to learn every day. For me, I like learning because of what it offers in terms of novelty, what it offers in terms of life experience. Yeah. There's some advantage to it. I feel powerful, empowered, and I feel capable, having these abilities to program software or weld something or machine something or work on a car. Those are valuable skills to me, practical skills. Maybe use a sewing machine. I'm able to tailor clothing. It's nice. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I regret only spending just a few minutes in our conversation today, but I need to get out. Get out the house. Emily, I hope you're doing well today. And I hope everything's going well. And that you're enjoying the life that you lead and that you're reasonably happy. And I hope you, I wish you the best. And I also hope that one of these days you have the courage to reach out to me and say hi, a simple hi. I'd appreciate it. Talk to you later, girl. Bye bye. I love you.